It's Most Amazing Top 10. I'm Danny Burke, and I own a small pet cat called Sadie. Pretty crazy pet to have, right? I must be out of my mind. A lot of us these days have dogs, and a lot of us have cats. They're clearly the most popular pets in the world, but for some celebrities, normal pets just don't cut it. Sometimes they end up getting pets that can eat you, maybe just freak you out, or maybe you didn't even know they actually existed. To see just what I mean, let's get right into our top 10 shocking celebrity pets. Starting off at number 10, we have Mike Tyson and his white tiger. The world famous boxer has been known to live quite an extravagant lifestyle, but everyone was still quite surprised when he brought home 3 Royal Bengal tigers. 2 females named Kenya and Storm, and a male tiger named Boris. Nice name for a tiger. One of them even appeared alongside him in The Hangover. The tigers reportedly cost about $70,000 to own, as well as $125,000 a year for an animal trainer to look after them whenever he went away. Eventually, Tyson had to give them up because he didn't actually have a proper license to own them. The tigers ended up living in a serene refuge in Colorado. I wish someone would confiscate me and put me in a serene refuge in Colorado. Moving on to number 9, we have Steven Tyler's pet Raccoon. The lead singer of legendary rock band Aerosmith once did an interview with David Letterman where he talks about having a pet raccoon. People tend to think of raccoons as wild creatures that often carry diseases, not the ideal pet you might think, but Steven Tyler said he had a pet raccoon when he was younger, and when I say pet, I don't mean like he kept it in the garage and left it food once in a while. Steven said he kept it on his shoulder and went fishing with it all the time. Clever little raccoon. It got itself a pet human to go fishing for it. Very clever. Next up at number 8, we have Nicolas Cage and his pet Cobra snakes. Cage said he had 2 of them, named Moby and Sheba, and they cost him about $270,000, and he kept them in his Hollywood home. Cage said that he had to keep the antidote to their venom near him at all times because a single bite from one of them would kill him in about 15 minutes. He said that watching the snakes' hypnotic movements when they would sway side to side helped him to play the part of Ghost Rider, the bounty hunter of the damned in the Ghost Rider movies. In the end though, he was forced to give up his cobras to a zoo when his neighbours found out about them and they threatened to sue. I'm sure 1 cobra would be absolutely fine, but 2, I think you're pushing it, Nick. Moving on to number 7 now, we have Vanilla Ice and his pet Wallaroo. He's famous for Ice Ice Baby, but his pet comes from Australia, a land known for being very hot indeed. A Wallaroo called Bucky Buckaroo. Brilliant. A Wallaroo is a close relative of the kangaroo. The 90s rapper adopted him when he was just a few weeks old, and he has lived with him in South Florida ever since. Mr. Ice even made him his own Wallaroo mansion, apparently, for him to hop around in and eat kangaroo chow. He lives there with a goat called Poncho. Apparently one time Poncho bashed open the gate in the back garden and Poncho and Bucky went missing for 2 weeks. A Wallaroo and a goat escaped from a rapper for 2 weeks. I can't wait to watch that movie. Next up at number 6 we have Salvador Dali and his pet Anteater. Now if you guys have ever seen a painting by the world famous Salvador Dali, you'll know he liked to think outside of the box, shall we say, and he was no different when it came to pets. Here is a very famous picture of him emerging from the subway in Paris in 1969 with one of his famous anteaters on a leash. Everyone else looks just as confused as we would all be if we saw an anteater emerge from a subway station, but please spare a thought for that poor anteater who is probably more confused than anyone else there. He's found himself in a strange concrete jungle being taken for a walk by a surrealist painter, and there's not a single ant in sight anywhere, which as an anteater is a bit of a problem. Coming in at number 5 now, we have Michael Jackson's Chimpanzee. In the late 1980s, megastar Michael Jackson started making public appearances with a new furry friend, Bubbles the chimpanzee. Jackson had bought him from a research facility some years before, and by the time the media saw him, he was already fully trained, he wore clothes and seemed very comfortable around people, especially Michael Jackson. He took Bubbles with him on his Bad World Tour, where they famously drank tea with the mayor of Osaka in Japan. Bubbles lived at the Neverland Ranch for a number of years, where he slept in a crib, he ate candy and even used toilets. When he became an adult, he was moved to a center for great apes apes where he still lives to this day. Okay, at the number 4 spot now we have Paris Hilton's Kinkajou. That's a strange thing for me to say. First things first, what exactly is a Kinkajou? It's okay, I hadn't heard of them either. A Kinkajou is a small rainforest mammal native to Central and South America. Now they're not actually endangered, but because of how nocturnal they are, they're quite a rare sight to see. But not for Paris Hilton apparently, because she had one in the early 2000s. What was its name? Baby Love. Yeah. Now you'd think that being a Kinkajou called Baby Love in LA would make it famous enough, but Baby Love stole headlines in 2006 when it bit Paris and she ended up being rushed to hospital. Baby Love hurts. Okay, next up at number 3 now we have Elvis Presley's Wallaby. The king was known to be a real animal lover. He owned a number of different dogs. On his farm he kept pigs and chickens. He even had geese to help keep his lawn nice and trim. But perhaps his most notable pet was a baby wallaby given to him by some Australian fans. A wallaby is a close relation of the kangaroo. There are a number of pictures of Elvis with the wallaby on the set of his famous Jailhouse Rock video. In 1957, Elvis donated the wallaby to the Memphis Zoo, where it lived out the rest of its life as possibly the most famous wallaby on the planet. I can't think of any others. Coming in at the number 2 spot now we have Kristen Stewart's wolf dogs. Now I've managed to avoid watching Twilight after all these years, but even I know that Kristen Stewart's character has a bit of a fling with Taylor Lautner's character, who is a werewolf. But he isn't the only wolf hybrid in her life. Kristen's family actually raises wolf dogs. They're called Jack, Lily, Tommy and Lola. Her mother rescued them years ago and now keeps them on an open piece of land with trees in California. The family has often had to defend their ownership of the animals after neighbours accused them of illegally keeping wolves, but they are apparently perfectly legal in California, and the family has even described them as companions. Would you guys like a wolf dog companion? Sounds kinda cool. I wonder if they play fetch. And finally at number 1 we have Tippi Hedren and her pet lion. Tippi Hedren was an American actress and fashion model who took on a lion from Mozambique because she wanted to make a feature film about a family who share their house with wild big cats. And what's the best way to practice for that? Actually get a lion in your house, of course. He was called Neil, and a photo shoot from 1971 shows just how intimate the family was with an animal that usually sends people running for their lives. Some of the most shocking pictures showed their 13-year-old daughter Melanie Griffith, who would later become a famous actress in her own right, playing with the lion, even sleeping in the same bed as it. Years later, Tippi said she is now embarrassed and regrets letting a fully grown lion live with them, and that they were stupid beyond belief. Her words, not mine. Now I want to say, hey, you know what? Whatever. It was the 70s, right? But don't live with lions, man. They will eat you. We've reached the end of the video, and although it was interesting for me to hear about all those weird and wonderful pets, I think I'm gonna stick with my pet cat. She hasn't tried to eat me yet. What do you guys think of having exotic animals as pets? Is it okay? Is it not really okay at all? Let me know your thoughts down below. My name is Danny Burke, and I hope to see each and every one of you in the next video.